Good morning and welcome to DCT, Deep Coherence Technique 5 step activation that'll get you in your day. But before we start the activation, we're also running what we call Take the 28-Day Challenge. Now, if you've just joined us, stay around because I know that you're going to get some value about what we're going to be speaking to today. For those of you that have been following, my goodness me, it's day 23, and we're really at a very interesting part of the cycle. It's a space where you begin to get a clearer understanding of just that first thing you want to pay attention to. So we always encourage folks to just pick one thing per cycle. And even if through a whole cycle, all you do is you eyeball it and you got it in your field of sight, it's in your observation mode. That is a big deal because most of the things we do throughout our day, day in, day out, are unconscious and on autopilot. So today I want to talk about something that we kind of touched off on, let me think, about 2 or 3 days ago. And that was the idea that all of your habits, whether they're good, bad, whether they're addictions, doesn't matter, things you do, rinse and repeat, all of those things have a root. And there are 4 types of root to a habit. Now, the first one is what we call the hungry ghost or a lazy loop, which I'm going to talk about today. On the right far side of that spectrum is a trauma, and we call that the wounded child. There is something that happened to us that anchors in a habit or an addiction that needs our attention. But in between, there are 2 more roots, and those are evolutionary drivers, hundreds of thousands of years of evolution on our mammalian brain that have kind of driven in behaviors that we don't have much control over. The other one is how we were raised, the customs, the cultures, the things that we just did in our family, the emotions, the ideas that were tolerated, the ones that were not. All of these things inform our daily habits. But I'd like to zoom out right now and I would like to concentrate on what I call the hungry ghost or the lazy loop. They mean the same thing. And I'd like to read you some of the things that I kind of dug down in. I did some research, but I also like to sit with what I share, and I like to make it my own so that it's not just copy and pasted. So today, 23, how can we starve the hungry ghosts of a habit? So a habit is a reliable solution to a reoccurring problem. That's James Clear in his book Atomic Habits, a book I'm currently reading. So not all bad habits are rooted in deep trauma, evolutionary drivers, or family customs. Some are just lazy loops, those mindless automatic behaviors that keep running simply because they're easy. They don't require effort, attention, or any decision making. I call them the hungry ghosts because they're not alive. They have no origin. They have no frequency in life of themselves. They have no thoughts. They have no past. They have no story, and they have no emotions. In other words, there's no root and there's no anchor. They just happen. These are things that just happen and you don't even have to think about them most of the time. So, why some bad habits, hungry ghosts, are really just mind loops? They're mind loops, and this comes back to training the monkey mind. So, your brain, as we've discovered before, your brain prioritizes efficiency over change. Habits automate decision making, freeing us up, freeing up mental energy for our literal physical mammalian brain. So it's an efficient way to run things. But if left unchecked, these habits can run on autopilot. And this is a quote from Dr. Wendy Wood, Good Habits, Bad Habits. Number 2, hungry ghosts, lazy loops need fuel. So even though they don't have a life of their own, they're something, aren't they? And they require a fuel. So they feed on your dopamine, which your brain releases in small amounts per the trigger of the habit. And most habits run by the hungry ghosts are not deadly. They're just time wasters and they sap your time, which is precious. And this is an idea that comes from Dr. Anna Lempke's book, Dopamine Nation, which is a really good book to read about the neuroscience of your brain and habits. So something called, it's not like we're saying we're bad people, that we're lazy. I think what I've learned relatively recently is that you can acquire through life a decision fatigue. And that just leads to unconscious looping behavior. So our brain, it's programmed and hardwired to resist breaking your habits because making decision takes effort. And the easiest option when you're in a hurry, when you're in a rush, when you just don't have time, you just can't be bothered, you've had a really big day and you stick to the script, you stick to the loop. So it's an opting out of agency. And remember, for the next few days or so, 9 days, we're actually talking about getting more agency in our lives. So there's a good book by Dr. Roy Baumeister called Willpower Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength. And that is what we're talking about really here. So, what are some common signs of hungry ghosts? Like, how do I know that something is a hungry ghost and not, say, there's another route to this issue? So, there's three ways to tell. I'm going to give you some examples. So, mindless scrolling, right? And what you do is you basically tell yourself just 5 more minutes, just 5 more minutes. I promise, I promise. And you kind of know what you're doing. But then the next thing you know, an hour has disappeared or longer. How do you feel afterwards? Number two, unconscious eating. You grab snacks out of boredom, not hunger. So it's just a lazy go-to behavior. And instead of using that time for something else, you go to you go to your overeating or snacking or whatever it is. Number three, procrastination loops. I think we can all identify with these. So we put off an important task and then we scramble at the last minute. Hands up, guilty of that one. Um, and I think that's a really common one, to be honest with you. So these are all signs of the hungry ghost, lazy looping. And these are things that with just a little effort, we can control. So our brains aren't doing this to us because there's a part of us that loves to sabotage and just make things problematic, or that we're lazy or we're bad. We're going to get rid of all the shame here and blaming. There's none of that here. It's just a fact. Your brain is wired to resist change because that's a more efficient way of running your daily behavior. It's just following the path of least resistance from its perspective, which is autopilot. Now, the DCT 28-day challenge is specifically designed to disrupt that Monday to Friday. Yes, we give ourselves the weekends off. So, how to break the loop, the lazy looping, and take back control and starve the ghosts. So there's a checklist here of 5, and these will be in the show notes. So number 1, we've been saying this all the way through the 28 days, is notice what you notice. Just switch that awareness feature back on. Notice what you notice, because awareness, observation, lucidity is power, agency. Number 2, when the urge strikes, stop. I think Mel Robbins talks about the 5 second. Just take a pause, take a breath. Just disrupt it. Stop for 5 seconds. Name the habit. Just calling it out loud will weaken its grip. For example, This is a lazy loop. I'm about to scroll mindlessly and probably use an hour of time that I could be using over here. Number three, change one small detail, disrupt the pattern. Example, if you always snack in front of the TV, eat at the table. Get rid of your snacks, like have snacking in another part of your day. If you scroll in bed, doom scroll, move your phone. Keep it outside of the bedroom. Turn it off. You can snooze your alarm, you can put it across the room. And what happens is these small hacks, these small tweaks confuse your brain's normal way of doing things, and it will spike it into lucidity. Number four, rewire the reward. Swap, don't stop. Now, for some people, this works. For other people, honestly, it's just better to just knock something out completely. You get to choose. This is your plan. So, swap, don't swap is an idea. Instead of forcing yourself to quit, replace the habit with a better one that gives a similar reward. Example, instead of doom scrolling, read a page of a book. Instead of stress eating, take a 5-minute walk. Something that I have found works in terms of food, because food can be a big one, is instead of denying yourself something, say 3 p.m. in the afternoon, like an afternoon tea and a biscuit, is bake your own low glycemic, tasty snacks and limit yourself. Like that's another idea too. Um, Instead of hitting snooze, stretch for 30 seconds in the morning. So, number five, clip the loop. Give yourself a win. And I don't think we talk about this enough. Every time you override a lazy loop, like we're really, really quick to condemn ourselves and to pile a load of shame and that horrible negative inner voice. But we often don't congratulate ourselves for the things that we get right. And we've got to reverse that round. Because think about how all of the things that you learned that were pleasurable and have served you, your parents or your peers or your teachers encouraged you. They reinforced, it was positive reinforcement. And that works better with a kid than yelling at it and making it feel bad. So that's you. Every time you have a small win, no matter how small, congratulate yourself and acknowledge it, because your brain, it needs that positive reinforcement, which is input. So example, you could say, I broke the cycle. Even if it was for one day, I broke the cycle. I know I can do it again. You can write that down in your journal. So my question to you today, day 23, is what mindless habit, hungry ghost, lazy loop will you interrupt today? You don't need willpower, information, more information, or deep therapy to break or starve a hungry ghost. You just need to stay present, have the ability to press pause, make small shifts in your life, and decide not to feed that hungry ghost with your most precious thing, your time. And I want to tell you that you're not alone in this. Our community is doing this too, and we're getting some phenomenal results. So don't go it alone. Join us and maybe even make some new friends. So now we're going to step into a very easy 5-step technique that, if you practice this every day, is going to bring you into a deeper state of coherence. We call this DCT, and we do it daily, Monday to Friday. We all start with step number one. I'm going to do a quicker version of it today because I've spent a lot of time talking, and I don't want to take up too much of your time in the morning as you're getting ready for work. Step number one, we're going to put our feet on the ground and we're going to feel the ground beneath our feet. If you've got slippers on, take them off. Bare feet is best. So bring your attention and focus down to your feet. Become aware of the skin, the sensations, the different areas of your feet, and connect. Now hold that. And now I want you to focus on the ground beneath your feet. So literally feel through your feet the ground beneath your feet, and feel the difference between the soles of your feet and the ground beneath your feet. Beautiful. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to close the gap between your feet and the ground so that they become one. And now take your focus and attention, push it down through the ground. And as you do so, I want you to imagine free falling down through the different layers of the earth, the soil, the rocks, the rivers, the caves, everything. And as you go down, you're going to be following a root system. Now, this root system keeps you connected to the earth all the time. You just can't see it, but it's there. So you're going down through this root system, down. Follow it down, 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 until you reach the center of the earth, where you see a black, solid ball, which is the earth's core, and your roots are connected to it. Now go through the outside of the ball, the core, and enter it. And as you do so, become aware of a few things. That it's black, that it's warm, that it feels familiar, and that you are connected to every living thing on this planet through this core. Now we're going to bring that connection, frequency, vibration, resonance. We're going to pull it up through our roots, up, 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 like a golden amber sap, all the way up until you reach the ground beneath your feet that are one with your feet. So feel that locking in. It's a sensation of locking in to something solid, as though you're wearing moon boots. There's a magnetism here. Now, all you have to do is let go. There is nothing you need to do. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. And when we get to 1, that vibration frequency resonance from the center of the earth will be in a vortex motion, vibrating over your entire body. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, let go, 4, 3, 2, filling you up, 1. Feel that pulsating sensation of earth frequency. This is always here for you. It's always available. Just ground. Step number 1, grounding complete. Step number 2, we're going to activate the light body through breath work. We're going to breathe in through our nose 5 times, quite deeply, We're going to count between 2 and 4. We're going to exhale more slowly. But here's what I want you to focus on. I want you to see your breath coming in as a brilliant white light. And then I want you to see your breath coming out as grayer, as darker. And I want you to see the light that is coming in as prana, life force. And it is going to clear out anything that needs to leave your body, which is the exhale. And see it as a wave coming in and a wave going out until eventually your entire body is illuminated and bright and white with this energy. 5 times. We call this driving the breath, and really make it your own. Breathing in and out. Allowing this illumination to come in. Step number 2. Light activation completed. Step number 3, we're going to prime the electromagnetic field. It runs arm's length all the way around. We say to you, notice what you notice. Feel what you feel. Connect to what you connect. This is all you. Step number 3, electromagnetic field primed. Primed for what? Primed for what comes next. Step number 4, this is the heart powered activation. Put your hands together, press into the heart, open gently, as though you're opening a door. You are. This is a portal. This connects you to the I am that I am, the infinite interdimensional you. Now close your eyes and imagine yourself walking through a door or a portal, through my hands, through your hands. Walk through. And we say to you, notice what you notice. What does it look like, feel like? For me, it is a beautiful illuminated space, full of light. It feels familiar and timeless. As I enter, I see a light, and that light forms a ball and moves towards me. As that ball of light moves towards me, I'm drawn to it inexplicably. magnetically. As the ball of light and I become one, there's an explosion and an implosion. What is released is the energy that creates a rising sun, brilliant, luminous, golden. And as this sun rises from the heart center, it casts out in all directions brilliant rays of light that fill your primed electromagnetic field with power. Now we call this the powered I am that 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 I am. But you can see this as your higher power, as the unlimited, most brilliant you. This is the space of genius. And we're going to be running this all throughout our day. So let that power run. Feel it running as waveforms, as rays of light, filling your field. Feel that. And now we're going to harness the group energy. We call this step number 5. Power of 9. We're going to connect our hands together like a triangle. Put it up to our head. Put it in front of our third eye. We're going to connect to the vortex energy of the group here with us today. We're going to pull in the power of the group, running it through the enlightened mind and sending it down as a beam of white light to the heart. And now what the heart is going to do is it's going to extract and expand that energy out with the energy we've generated to create a carrier wave that we call coherence. You can see it as a ripple on a lake or a waveform. It's the same thing. See that expand out, 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 out. It's easy to drop off at this point because you know the technique is about to end, but I would encourage you to stay fully present. Stay fully present to this because vortex energy is going to boost the ability of your coherence today. So stay connected. Don't drift off. Now, when that carrier wave leaves your electromagnetic field, it is going to continue to run in all directions, informing your day, imprinting the quantum field. And you have to just let go and let it run. We can't control it because the on-powered I am that I am that I am that I am that I am is in the driving seat. So now we're going to close technique. Bring your hands together. This is very important. We're going to seal the deal. Repeat after me. And so it is. For I command my space, and I bless my day, my world, and all in it. And we say to you, notice what you notice in the quantum field today, because it is always speaking to you and it is always listening to you. And there is never a moment where you're not signaling. So you may as well choose coherence. And that starts here every single day. Invite your friends, join our community. It's all about taking action now. So become a part of this because this is growing. And I promise you, your life will change. You have a wonderful day, and I will see you very soon.